Visionary Fragrances is bringing you another new fragrance release video. This time it's Boss Bottled Elixir. We're going to go through this fragrance and we're going to find out if you should buy it. Now for me, this is the best Boss Bottled release since the famous and now sadly discontinued Boss Bottled Intense. These don't smell similar, but this is the first interesting, really high quality fragrance that I've smelt from Boss Bottled in a long time. Now you may be wondering, is there some similarities to Sauvage Elixir? And there are some similarities, but we're not going to go deep into that topic today. I'm going to save a full comparison for a future video. So how does Boss Bottled Elixir smell? Well, this is a very spicy, resinous, manly, earthy patchouli type of smell. It has spices up the top. You get a heavy dose of aromatic spices with an incense note at the top. And then as it goes through to the dry down, that's when I pick up on this very earthy and manly patchouli note. Now this patchouli note is very interesting. It hasn't, in my opinion, it hasn't got that chocolatey feel that you get from some patchouli notes. This smells much more earthy and dirty and certainly has a very masculine edge to it. Now, interestingly, as you go further into the dry down, and I'm talking 6, 7, 8 hours into the dry down, this turns a little bit sweet, almost vanillic on my skin. And it made me wonder, is there some kind of sweet vanilla in the fragrance? Now, there is nothing listed in the notes that will indicate there's any sweet vanilla, tonka bean, any sweet notes like that. But the amalgamation of the notes do turn quite sweet on my skin. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this kind of character in Boss Bottled Elixir, but if you have, please leave a comment and let me know. But I noticed it after, honestly, about 7 hours, 8 hours after I'd sprayed this on, it completely changed into a sweeter vanilla-like smell, and it was gorgeous. Now, as you know, I love fragrances that change on my skin. Of course, not every fragrance has to change and go on a fragrance journey, if you like, but those fragrances that do are often really interesting, and they're not fragrances that we get bored of because they go through a process of changing from, it could be from spicy to sweet, it could be from fresh to boozy. Doesn't matter. I just love fragrances that take you on that journey and do change. Now, the performance of Boss Elixir is absolutely brilliant on my skin, at least. I have worn this a few times now, and what I normally do to test fragrances is spray them on my forearm, because that way you don't go nose blind to them, because on your arm, away from your nose, you can smell them as you want. And I wore this in the daytime, went to bed, woke up the next morning, and it was still quite strong on my forearm. So that tells me this is a very strong and high-performing fragrance. When would I wear Boss Bottled Elixir? This is going to be great for the upcoming winter, autumn, winter, nighttime. That is when this is going to be a great fragrance to wear. But to be honest, like Sauvage Elixir, it is relatively versatile, and as long as you don't spray 10 sprays, you could probably wear this to work. It's not going to really offend anyone. It's a Hugo Boss fragrance. It's designed more or less to be mass pleasing, and it just does smell nice. But I would sample it before you buy, because as I said, it smells very manly and it does have this earthy patchouli which you may not like. So to sum up then, do I think this is a good fragrance? Well, I'm sure you could tell by the review that I do really appreciate this release. Now, in a sea of new releases that we've had this year, in a fragrance market right now that is bringing out some bland fragrances that smell very similar to one another, and they are designed for every single person, doesn't matter if you're 16 or 65, they are fragrances that just smell good to everyone. I really appreciate this because it's a bit different, it has some uniqueness, and it is a fragrance that I would recommend that you sample before blind buying, because you may not enjoy it. And you can't say that for a lot of fragrances that are being released at the moment. They're very safe, boring and repetitive, but this one goes in its own direction, and I really appreciate this release by Boss. This is Boss Bottled Elixir, and for me this is the best Hugo Boss fragrance that you can currently buy. The last thing I'd like to mention is the price. I paid full price for this so I could get it early to put it on my website and to review, and that price was around £90 to £100. I do think that's excessive, because I know a new release is going to be more expensive, but this will go down in price. This will be, I reckon, about £65 to £70 within 2 months on fragrance discount websites. So if you're not desperate for it, wait until it hits the discounters and you'll be able to buy this for around £70 for 100ml. Have you tried Boss Bottled Elixir? And let me know what you think.